In this section, we'll be covering drain detail and base trim application for your EcoGrip flooring. There's several different fixtures that you may come into contact with on your job site. Floor drains can be circular or they can be square. Floor sinks typically are square and larger and are typically raised above the level of the substrate. And trench or trough drains are normally rectangular and also raised above the level of the substrate. In the case of your floor drains, both round and square can be recessed, assuming they are flush with the concrete substrate. If they're not flush with the substrate, in case of a retrofit project, then you'll need to install a stainless steel collar to hold down the material surrounding the drain.
Here's an example of a recessed drain lid. The drain lid should be set flush with the subfloor upon arriving on site. First, remove the lid and mark where the drain is located. When installing the stainless steel drain detail, it's important that your drain is sealed and ready to have a collar put on it. You place the collar around the drain and try to get an equidistant area around. Try to center it as well as you can. And you take a ballpoint pen and you mark around the collar as well as you can so you have a mark to use your router. Sometimes you have to clean the floor to get it to show a mark. After you have a mark to go around, you compare the thickness of your collar and you try to achieve the same thickness with your router. When you're ready to route, you want to check and do a test run and just make sure you're at the right depth. You don't want to go too deep. Whenever routing, it's important to keep one elbow secured to the floor so you have control and the router doesn't jump. It's very important to stay within the lines. After recessing the drain collar, it should fit snug around the drain and into the route that you've created. Now it's ready to be anchored and secured. After installing your anchors into the anchor holes, you're ready to apply your E6100 sealant to the inside, outside, and underneath the holes, and then you're ready to screw down. After your stainless steel collar is properly installed, it will withstand abuse and rolling loads for years to come. Here's an example of a stainless steel square flange. The installation technique used for the flange is the same as the circular collar. If the square flange is being installed around a raised floor sink, it is not necessary to recess into the PVC. The stainless steel screws, anchors, and E6100 sealant are used with the square flange as they are in the circular collar.
In the case of the floor sink, the cleanest installation is our epoxy collar installation, whereby you route out 1/2 inch around the sink apparatus itself and pour our tinted epoxy material around the sink, holding everything in place and creating a permanent bond.
This is an example of our epoxy detail around a floor sink.
This is the same epoxy we use to mastic down the floor. We add a little bit of tint to it and fill the gap around it. Comes out to a nice waterproof finish.
Material around trench drains will need to be anchored using 16-gauge flat bar material. The stainless steel flat bar will hold down the edges of the material and is installed using stainless steel screws and lead anchors. The heavy-duty stainless steel application around trench drains is important due to the fact that heavy rolling loads often go down these areas in restaurants and can cause damage to any other detail that may be lighter. A 16-gauge stainless steel detail is heavy duty and will protect these drains and the EcoGrip flooring material for many, many years. We offer 3 different types of base trim for your EcoGrip flooring: aluminum base trim, high impact PVC, and stainless steel base trim. It's important that a bead of the E6100 sealant be used on top of the edge of the base prior to the trim being installed. This will seal all moisture, water, and dirt from getting behind the base. Then the trim is affixed and mechanically fastened using stainless steel screws. This creates a completely waterproof barrier for the top of the base of your floor.
This is an example of our base trim or termination strip. Base trim needs to be installed within 1 hour of gluing the floor. The trim is secured with stainless steel screws and E6100 sealant. This technique ensures water cannot penetrate the base and the base doesn't raise off of the floor before the epoxy has a chance to harden. This is our transition strip. We use this to transition between PVC floor and any other type of floor. That includes manufactured cooler floors, tile floors, anything that it meets at the job site. It's waterproof and this edge right here can never come up. It's actually routed into the material, about a 1/16 inch, just so there's no trip hazard or anything right here that can get caught on.
If you need more information concerning drain detail and base cap application, please refer to the EcoGrip installation manual for more information.